Hi everybody and welcome back to Amy Brunigan's yoga channel. Today is a very special day. Not only is it August 1st, Rabbit, but it is also a full moon tonight. Not only does August have one full moon, it has two. So it is on August 30th, almost the end of the month. So I feel like this is a huge transitionary change for us, not only to mention that we are in Venus retrograde now. What does all this mean, right? I even wore my little moon earrings today for today's practice. So without further ado, let me talk about this. So the full moon is a time for reflection, resetting, kind of looking at what we have in front of us as it is and working on things either for the good or working on things that we're not necessarily good at. So it really takes some clarity. It really takes some letting go of ego. And it really takes us to be grounded, to be able to really tap into our inner knowledge. As with most full moons, it likes to take on the energy of other things that are going around. So in this case, it's Venus retrograde. And what that means is it's asking us to understand how we fit into our relationships. So our relationship with ourselves, our relationships with our loved ones, our friends, our family, those that we work with, those that we come in contact, and strangers. And how are we doing this? When was the last time we reevaluated our relationships and how we tend to those relationships, how we act in those relationships, and what we say? So it takes a little bit of self work to do that, and that's what all this practice is for today. So we're going to do some chest openers to open up that heart, and then we're also doing some hip openers and leg strengthening so that we get that power, that fire, and that also calming energy in our forward bends and some twists today. So those are going to be our energetics of the class. And last but not least, we will be doing some breath work. I'm excited to bring this to you because if there's one thing that you can do, as my teacher always says, it's to breathe. We're going to be learning some breathing techniques. So if out of all this practice today, take away the breathing techniques because you can do this anywhere, anytime. So without further ado, let's get started, my friends. All right, everybody. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start our practice for today. Before we start, if you need any of your props, I'm a big fan of props. Go ahead and grab your blanket if you need it. Now, typically the way that I do my blanket is I fold it in half like this with the tassels out. And then I'm gonna fold the tassels on the inside here into a third, and then this one over that. And then I have no tassels to worry about. And I'm gonna use this edge here that's nice, crisp, and clean. And this is where I'm gonna place my sits bones when I do any seating or if I need this for my knees. So we're just gonna have this available. Placing that to the side for later. If you aren't familiar with this starting pose, I highly suggest it. My teacher always tells me if there's any pose that you can do during the day, even just one, it's gonna be this pose. And this pose is called crocodile pose or Makarasana. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do that. So to start in Makarasana, lie on your belly, like so, with the forehead resting on your arms folded in front of you, and your feet either splayed apart or with toes pointed straight back. Beautiful. Now breathe naturally, and notice that your belly is pushing against the floor while you're breathing. Breathing into this resistance helps strengthen our muscles' capacity, in turn helps with our diaphragmatic engagement in breathing. Practice breathing with your mouth closed, using your nostrils, feeling the breath come in through the nostrils, into the body as you expand the belly, and as you exhale, the breath comes back out, warm, through the nostrils, and just continue this breath. We cultivate this healthy breathing by keeping in mind the 5 qualities of breath here. Is it smooth? Is it complete? Is it even, silent, and continuous? Just bringing this conscious awareness to your breath helps you strengthen your muscles' capacity to control your breathing, being in touch with your mind and your body and restoring this pranayamic strength. Feel it from your head to your toes. When we bring this awareness to our breath, we're able to restore it to its pristine nature and refine its movement by gaining control. So here, go ahead and bend the knees, wiggle the ankles, pointing the toes, and then maybe go ahead and windshield wiper the legs side to side. Just being gentle, practicing moving on the breath or with your breath. And then see if you can feel your pelvis, grounding it to the floor. And then stretching the knees out behind you, pointing the toes up. Feel that elongation, and then stretch out the legs, pointing the toes, and ever so slowly let them drift down towards your mat. From here, with as little disruption as possible, push yourself up, grab your blanket, and we're going to move into a seated position here. So just taking your time, no rush. I'm using my blanket for my sits bones, bringing my knees close down to the mat, giving me space. Of course, you can always sit in any kind of position that is comfortable to you. So just find what works for you here and don't think too much about it. And then let's just go ahead and close our eyes, placing our hand on our chest and on our belly. And if closing your eyes is not in your practice today, just gaze down towards your mat. See if you can notice the similarities in this pose as we did in Makarasana. So we're sitting in Sukhasana pose here and just reconnecting with our breath. And then on your next inhale, place your right arm down on the mat. Inhale that left arm up and over like a rainbow, stretching that whole left side body, keeping your left knee grounded in towards the mat, extending that left arm up and over, really opening those side ribs. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up and over. We're doing the right side now, feeling that stretch in the ribs, keeping your knee down towards your mat, rooting it down. If it tends to pop up, that's okay. Place a block or a pillow underneath it or your blanket, giving yourself some support. Fall into the pose. Gazing up or down. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, drop that arm. Remove your block. Let's do the other side one more time. Rainbowing over. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, come down. Take a deep inhale. Reach those arms out. Clasp them together if you can, tucking your chin towards your chest, rolling those shoulders while keeping your arms outstretched, making sure to roll them in the opposite direction. Just a few more times, and then taking your right arm, folding it across you using your left arm. Just like we used to do in old school days, just stretching out the outer arms here, wiggling the fingers, making some space, and then go ahead and put your palms out in front of you like you're making stop signs and actively push out, wiggle the fingers. Maybe close your eyes here, and then bring your palms together and bend the fingers back on the right hand, feeling that nice stretch in the hand. And maybe you can extend your arm out a little bit, making a nice straight arm. And let's go ahead and do the other side. So really just gently taking a hold of those fingers, bringing them backwards, and then just shake it all out. Coming to the hands and knees in tabletop position, placing your hands underneath the shoulders. And then if you'd like, you can use a blanket underneath your knees and tabletop if that's comfortable to you. In either case, whether you use a blanket or not, I'm moving mine out of the side here. We want to make sure that we have our hands under our shoulders and we're rooting our shins and the tops of our feet down into the mat. So just thinking about this grounding energy, both from the hands and the shins. Finding your space here. Inhale, come up to cow. Exhale, round the shoulders, tucking the tailbone into cat. Inhale, back again into cow. Exhale, cat. And just coming into your breath here. So establishing that breath like the pattern we did in Makarasana or crocodile pose in the beginning of the practice. And just doing this a few more times on your own breath. And then we're going to change it up. After you exhale on your cat, bring your hips down towards your heels. Inhale, come back up to cow. And we're going to rotate through this. So exhale to cat. Beautiful. Inhale to cow. And as we exhale, rounding the shoulders, bring the hips back down towards your feet. Inhale, come back up. Find your center here in tabletop pose. We're going to move into thread the needle. So using your right arm extended up towards the ceiling and then thread it through. We're not going to lay it down yet. We're going to move dynamically here. So just extending the arm up. I realize I am facing away from the camera, so here's a better view. Still using the right arm here. Reaching up, and as we exhale, threading it through. Third time now, we're going to lay our forehead down on the ground and our right shoulder down on the ground, extending our fingers. And if you want a little challenge, bringing that left arm up and over behind the back, opening up that shoulder area, or staying here in neutral position. We're going to come back up to tabletop and do the other side. Let me flip back around here. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, thread through. Inhale, come up. Exhale, thread through. One more time, y'all. Inhale, come up. Exhale, thread through, bringing your left temple to the ground, left shoulder to the ground, left fingers extending and wrapping that right arm around if you wish. Or again, just keeping it neutral here. And let's go ahead and make our way back to tabletop. Beautiful. And then here we're going to curl our toes under and reach back up into our first downward dog of the practice. So feel free to move around, bend those knees. Take a nice stretch and then find stillness, really grounding into your downward dog. And then we're going to go ahead and take this right leg. After we find our stability, inhale, lift this right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, bring it down towards your chest. Inhale, reach the leg back up again. On an exhale, bring your right foot in between your hands, coming into a high runner's lunge, grounding that right foot, making sure your knee is hugged in towards your body. We're going to inhale, rock forward, and exhale, rock backward on our toes. So just a very subtle movement here. Finding that space in your hips, that stability of the legs. And once you feel grounded, inhale, clasp the hands behind your back and reach up into Warrior One, bound hands, humble warrior. You can bring your knee down to the ground or stay up into a high lunge, whatever suits you. And on your next exhale, fold forward over the leg, again keeping your knee down or in a high runner's lunge. Inhale, release the arms, step up into Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale into Uttanasana, really reaching those hips up into space, allowing your chin to tuck towards your chest. Maybe you rock left and right, and then placing your fingers behind on your thighs. Reach all the way up, coming up into Tadasana. Arms up towards the ceiling. I'm going to turn to face towards you here. And then we're going to interlace our fingers, palms up towards the ceiling here. And we're going to reach up as tall as we can. And then we're going to grab the left wrist with the right hand. And we're going to exhale over towards the side, stretching our body. We're going to release and do the other side. So we're going to grab the right wrist with the left hand. Exhale over towards the side body. Beautiful. And then we're going to sink our hips down into chair pose, just like so. And then you can either have your arms out in front of you extending or have out like cactus arms. I prefer cactus arms. And then we're going to exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up. One more time. Exhale, fold forward into chair. Bring your hands to a prayer pose. Twist toward your right side. Remember to breathe here. And then we're going to inhale, come back to center. And then we're going to exhale and rotate our bodies towards the left side, maintaining this strength in our feet and our thighs. Inhale, come back to center. Let your hands fall down towards the mat, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, come up to mountain pose. Maybe a little stretch here. Exhale the hands down. Pausing for a moment here in mountain. I really want you to think about rooting down and towards the ground. Think about your chest, lifting the chest towards the sky, tucking the tailbone slightly, really feeling tall and spacious, grounding the feet where they're hip distance apart, lifting those kneecaps, so really activating those thighs there. So just check in with your alignment here. Again, lifting that chest. Think about a string, like a top of your head, pulling you nice and tall. And either keep your eyes closed, or you can find a spot in front of you and gaze towards that. We call that our drishti point in yoga. So just taking a moment in this active mountain. Can you breathe as easy here? So again, from this mountain pose, inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step back in your downward facing dog. Second downward facing dog of the day. Getting a little bit more familiar here, maybe some more space. Just finding your alignment, focusing your breath. And we're going to inhale, reach that left leg up and back into space. Exhale, bring the foot between the palms. Really finding your alignment here, squeezing in towards the hips. And then inhale, rock forward. Exhale, rock back. Inhale, roll forward. Exhale, rock back. Again, feel free to place your knee down on the ground or stay here in the runner's lunge. Once you find your stability, come up into Humble Warrior One, interlacing those fingers behind the back. Again, keeping the knee down on the ground if you need a break. Also, you can use your blanket underneath that knee if there's any pressure. Feel free to do that. Really extending down, chest lifted. And then we're going to exhale, fold forward over the leg, Humble Warrior. Feeling the expansion in the back body, the strength of our legs. Inhale, step up towards the front of your mat, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Beautiful. Place your hands along the back side of your legs. Inhale all the way up towards your mountain. Reaching your hands up towards the sky. Interlace your fingers. And then grabbing your left wrist with your right hand. Exhale over towards the side. Inhale, come back up. Switch your wrists, grabbing your right wrist with your left hand now. Exhale over towards the side. Beautiful. Inhale, come back up to center. Drop the arms down. Coming into chair. So arms alongside each other or cactus arms. And we're going to exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold forward. Staying in chair. Powerful, grounded. Exhale, fold forward. And then we're going to find our center. Twist towards our right side. Looking up or looking down towards the floor. Really finding your alignment here. Some space. Inhale towards center. Exhale towards the left side. Feeling that powerful twist, that balancing. Inhale, come up, push through chair into your mountain, and bringing your hands down beside you. Active mountain here. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step back into your downward facing dog. Externally rotate the upper arms. Press your hips up and back. Lengthen the spine. Gently reach your heels down towards the earth. The entire body is engaged and the spine is elongated. Overall fatigue is reduced and the body is energized. Reach those sitting bones up. And then we're going to go ahead and bring our knees gently floating down towards our mat or blanket, and then tapping our feet out, releasing any of that pent-up energy there. And then we're going to move our blanket if one is there and come down into child's pose, widening the legs, allowing space for the body. And then go ahead and bring your temple down on the floor, laying your hands flat down and just relax. Take a deep breath here. Take a moment to reflect on all you're feeling. And when you're ready, walk your hands over towards the right side of your mat, feeling that stretch again on that left side body. Remembering to breathe here, navel towards spine. And if you're ready, and if you have the space, trying a little twist here in our child's pose. Hugging our inner organs, bringing oxygen and nutrients. Coming back towards our child's pose, walking to the middle, pausing for a moment here, and then walk your hands towards the left side of your mat, stretching the whole right side body. And then when you're ready, bringing yourself into a little twist here. Maybe you notice you're more tight on one side than the other. I know I am, so just giving myself space here. Breathing and coming back towards the middle in our child's pose. And then we're going to go ahead and come back into Makarasana. So remembering this pose from the beginning of our practice, checking in with your breath here. Remembering those 5 qualities of breath. Is it smooth? Is it calm? Is it even, continuous, and quiet? Do you notice any changes from your breath from the beginning of practice to now? Feel the connection of your whole body. And when you're ready, with as little disruption as possible, roll over onto your back for your Shavasana. So finding whatever props are needed, allowing your whole body to relax here, closing your eyes, and just connecting with your breath. And it's important to allow ourselves the space for Shavasana. We've moved around and released a lot of energy, and this just allows us the space for our body to relax, to recoup, and to really listen to our internal teacher. Feel the eyes deep within the sockets. Move your awareness to your chest, feeling the rib cage expand and contract with each breath. Feel the heart beating down to your belly, all the organs in between, to your hips lying down and grounded on the mat, relaxing the thighs, the knees, the shins, bringing attention to the tops of your feet, all 10 toes, and then the bottoms of your feet. Bring awareness to your whole body and see if you can maintain this feeling, this presence throughout the rest of your day. And when you're ready, slowly begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes, coming back. Maybe your breath quickens here. Maybe you take a nice stretch. And with as little disruption as possible, coming back up to your seated position, eyes closed. And again, if keeping your eyes closed is not within your practice, just gazing down towards the mat, reconnecting with your body as we move towards our meditation. So coming to your comfortable seated, spine nice and tall, and just bring attention to your breath. Continue to breathe, and when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes. Thanks again, guys, for being here. It was a lovely practice. I am honored to be a presence in your life at this point in time, and hope that this practice brought you some clarity, that you feel grounded and energized, and that you can tackle anything in your day today. Namaste. A copy of the practice, as well as all the energetics and the things within the practice, will be in the link below. Also, as we progress through our practices, we will get through more techniques in my Vinyasa Krama toolbox. But for now, we're going to start small and work our way up. So it has been a pleasure, y'all. Have a great day.